I'm really excited about this one because that means I get to get rid of a cable. This is the Xvive U35. This is the wireless microphone system, but it can do so much more than that. Now, why is everyone talking about 5.8 gigahertz? A lot of Bluetooth and wireless things are now on the 2.4 gigahertz frequency, and they're becoming really, really cheap, but it's a really clogged frequency, which can cause dropouts. Now, if you just listen to music on your phone, that's not too much of a worry, but if you're actually performing, then you don't want dropouts, certainly if you're performing live or if you're using looping. So this little bad boy is going to change the game because it's the U35, which means it's on 5.8 gigahertz, which is not as cluttered. You're getting a truer wireless signal, and then there's a couple of advantages. You're still getting the fantastic 24-bit 48 kilohertz audio, and then that ranges from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. But with 5.8 gigahertz, that can go through walls without dropping out. Now, they stay up to 100 feet or 30 meters, and I've seen videos actually where people have gone beyond that as long as they're facing the transmitter and receiver together. But there's two upgrades on this one that can actually not only help you with your microphone, but the other feature means you can have a wireless speaker. Now, before we get going, Xvive did send this out for review. They're not paying for this review. They have not seen the video beforehand. And of course, as always, the thoughts are my own. So let's get this out of the box. We've got the box here, and we've got the sides, we've got the back. You can see it's got obviously a couple of different things there. The latency on this as well is 5 milliseconds. So for singing and performing, you're not really going to notice obviously that delay, which is fantastic, really. Getting this out of the box, we've got quite a few things in here, and we're going to open this up and showcase this for you. Nice little pull there, and there's some bump underneath. So we've got our warranty cards, we've got let's move that over there, some promotion for some other stuff that they do, which is great because they do quite a lot. And then we've got the instruction manual. Then we've also got the charger. Now, this is USB-A to USB-C dual. I really, really want them to do USB-C to USB-C dual. I don't know if that's possible. I'd really like that in the future, please. So we don't have to deal with USB-A at all. But you get a dual cable, which is quite handy. Can always put an adapter on, I suppose. And then we've got a bag, and inside this bag is a bag. It's actually a little case to put the adapters into, should you wish to. There we go. Nice little sort of velvety thing. And then onto the main event, you've got the transmitter, which is this one that plugs into your microphone, and then you've also got the receiver, and the receiver obviously plugs into wherever your microphone is going into. Now, the cool thing with these two is, first of all, slight update on the color, a little bit of a champagne color like the U45, the in-ear monitors that they do, and I'll leave a card up now if you want to go and watch that video. And these have a really cool feature. With the receiver, what you can do with this switched off, we can power it up, and you can see how quick it is. You can push the button down and there's 6 different channels, and that's fine. You can pair that up. But what you can do is, whilst you've actually got this one off, if you hold this down, what it'll do is it'll start scanning. Do you see that? And it's scanning for the best signal based on where you are. So give it a second. And there we go, it's landed on number 1 anyway, and that's fine. So then if it was going to be on number 3, you would then just turn that one on, and then you would actually go to that one. You notice here, I'm going to turn this on its side, you'll notice that when we get to number 1, do you see that's gone green? So now that means they're paired, and that's really, really easy, like super easy to do. Now you'll notice on the transmitter, you've got power and mute. It's basically powering off, but it'll mute it and it won't give a thud when you turn that off, which is really handy. So if you've got a microphone that doesn't have like a mute switch, that's just an added advantage. And then on this side, what you've got is mic and line, and this can actually work in one of 2 ways. You can either give yourself a 10 dB boost between the two, or what you can do is you can put it into line, and then you can use these to send it out from a mixer to a speaker, therefore actually having your speaker and mixer completely wireless. Me personally, I do 2 45-minute sets. There's a little bit between and a little bit before and a little bit afterwards, so let's call it 3 hours. Being able to run these up to 5 hours, this will handle that with 2 hours to spare. You'll notice with the receiver, the plug is actually going to side on, and that's a good thing because if you're plugging this into a mixer, you can plug it in sideways and then slot it in, giving room to more XLRs or giving room to another one of these if you're doing it in stereo. One of the advantages you can use with this is, let's say you don't want this plugged into your mixer, or maybe it's just the way the mixer is designed, it's really too tight. All you need to do is use a short XLR cable or a long one, depending on what you want to do, plug that into this, and then all you do is trail that to somewhere away from the mixer. Still leaves this wireless, and also it means that it's plugged into wherever you need it to be. As you've probably guessed from this channel, we do everything to do with looping, and I'm going to use this to plug in to my looper. Now, before I do that with these, if you are looking to get into looping, I have a course which is called How to Loop Like a Pro. Loads of people buy a loop pedal, or they get a looping app and they play around with it for an hour and they go, don't know how to do this. They're either too scared or they can't get the timing right. So that's where my course comes in, called How to Loop Like a Pro. It's a beginner's course, even though it says pro at the end, because by the end of it, you'll be able to get some really cool pro techniques. Now, it actually used to be 2 separate courses. Those 2 courses used to cost $99 each. So what I've done now is I've put them together, and it's now just $48. Less than the price of a decent loop pedal, and you can get me for a couple of hours on a course that'll teach you how to loop no matter which device you use. So whether you're using a tabletop looper, an app like Loopy Pro, or a big looper or a small looper like a pedal, it doesn't matter. It's actually teaching you the technique of looping. So there's a link in the description box if you want to go and check that out. Go and have a look at How to Loop Like a Pro. Thank you very much to those who already have. We've had some great feedback, and we've got a new chapter coming soon for those who've already bought it. Stay tuned. Now, a couple of the little bits to know about this. 107 decibels, first of all, then this can take pretty much anything. No, you can't use it with condenser microphones. They have another pack for that that's specific to condensers to produce 48 volts phantom power. So if you do need one for a condenser microphone, you need the U3C. The other thing as well is you can use them whilst they're being charged. So if you're doing an all-day festival, maybe you want to charge this next door to the mixer. Obviously, charging the microphone one's a bit weird because then you're not wireless, but it is wireless, it still will work, and that is obviously a question that would be asked. Speaking of charging, it can take between 1.5 to 2.5 hours to charge both of them at the same time using that USB-A to dual USB-C cable. It all depends on how much voltage you've got going through it. Now, a quick word about your PA. If you're going to use this for the PA and plug this in so you will have a wireless PA, of course that's just mono. If you want to actually get a stereo version, they do a stereo kit, and basically it's 2 of each of these. It's a dual wireless system on 5.8 gigahertz. The great thing is you can change the channel for each one. Therefore, this pack could be on channel 1, and you can have another pack on channel 2, and then that way they won't interrupt each other. And then in that pack as well, there is an XLR extender. So if you've got them really, really close to each other and it's too close, then the other one can actually be further away. It's really handy and a really clever idea. So let me know what you think. Would you use these? I definitely am going to. I'm going to use this on Saturday, my next gig, and I'm going to be using this wirelessly, and then I've got my guitar wirelessly as well. The 5.8 gigahertz range is where it's at for now. Definitely a lot less dropouts, and for my next gig, it's not even going to run to half power before I finish with these. And if you want a 5.8 gigahertz in-ear monitoring system, well then that's this, and I did a video all about that, and that's the link that's just come up on the screen now. So these 2 together are a powerhouse.